It's Dinagyang time. Sort of. Okay, if you followed my channel for any length of time, you probably know how much I love the big street festivals here. And here in Iloilo, Dinagyang is great. It is a huge festival, goes on for days, and it's street performances. They have like half a dozen stages, so the performers have to parade from one stage to the other, taking these elaborate sets and crazy costumes with them, and it makes for a great time. I go to it every year. Last year I paid for the press pass. It's right here, I still have it, and I was down there for days filming it. It's just, I love it. It's really fun. The festivals here just get unbelievable. The amount of creativity, the art, the dance, the sets, just everything about it. I love it. And I love the crowds. I love the whole party atmosphere, all the food booths, the vendors, just everything about it. Well, this year, for obvious reasons, it's not happening. Should be happening like today is the main day. It's not happening. They announced a while back it was going to be a virtual Dinagyang. And I've got to say, my initial thought was, because I didn't expect much. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to film some dances and put it online? How much fun is that going to be? Turns out it was pretty cool. I'm going to show some clips here in a minute of some of the really neat dances. I did not film any of this, obviously, because you can't go to it. This was all filmed around the city, edited together. So instead of the big giant set pieces, they used their own area. Like the Manjuriao people were all over Manjuriao. The city proper people were all downtown city proper. And so you got the backdrop of the city. So it made for some very interesting dance numbers. And instead of putting their time and effort into building the set pieces, and can you imagine how much, just the logistics, how much work and how many people is involved in getting all that stuff. They're coming from all over the region, hauling these giant set pieces like on jeepneys with 60, 100 people. Because you got the dancers, the set people, there's all the helpers. It was just, I was out there last year filming just unbelievable jeepneys piled up with stuff and trucks full of stuff and tons of people. And it was a huge endeavor. Well, this year the effort went into filming, which was a completely different artwork, and most of them did really well. They showed around town, and actually I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I filmed quite a bit of it. All I did was screen capture it off the city's live feed. I would like to have been there to film stuff in person, but like I said, they filmed this over different times and you couldn't be there. And so it was just all put together, edited very well. They did a nice job. And as they streamed it today, I screen captured a bunch of it just to show you. So I take no credit for any of this footage. I'm just sharing it because I love Iloilo, and this has been a terrible blow to the tourism of Iloilo. But hopefully this will, at least keep the festival going and show how great it is. If you ever wanted to come here for Dinagyang, it's the last weekend of January, and you better get your hotel 2 or 3 months in advance, because if you wait too long, they're gone. This place fills up. So there's tons of money being made in the hotels, restaurants, shopping, and none of that was going to get made up during the virtual Dinagyang. So the festival did survive, it did go on, but I'm sure a lot of businesses count on that Dinagyang money every year. They didn't get it. So that's very unfortunate. And I hope next year, I hope it's back. I'll get a press pass, I'll cover the whole thing. I mean, and by then I hope to be living in the city. We hope. By the way, I made it back from our extended vacation in Boracay, and we are here at our house on the rice field. And well, I gotta say, when I sat down, I didn't miss it, but it is nice to be home. It's kind of. But I'm ready to go to the city. So hopefully next year I'll be living in the city and can spend a lot more time at Dinagyang. This year, this is all we have. A friend of mine lives downtown, and he said that they've got some exhibits and a food fest. They're trying to do a little bit within COVID regulations. So there's not a whole lot going on, nothing like what usual goes on. So the hotels are all still empty. The restaurants aren't, they're usually, the restaurants end up putting tables all out in the streets. They close off whole sections of town and just fill the streets with tables and stages. And it's just a huge, wonderful time. And unfortunately, that didn't happen this year. But these dances are very cool. They did a lot of really good work on the dances, and they were able to do some films talking more, because they do these giant birds, a lot of the different groups. And so I asked Melanie, I was like, what's the significance? Because they're doing these giant birds in a number of these dance performances, and it's amazing costumes, the giant wings and the heads, and it just looks terribly uncomfortable to walk around downtown and dance in, but they're awesome looking. And even she was like, she loves them, but she didn't really know the significance. She says in some of the stories there's got to be something about birds. I figured that, but what are the stories? Even she didn't know. In the live feed, well, it wasn't live, but in the streaming, virtual Dinagyang, they actually filmed a part talking to some of the Ati, and they were explaining the meaning of the different parts. And the bird represents the freedom of repression and, flying free, and there's a whole lot in it. And so it's really, really interesting. And you don't get that during the live performances on the street. I love watching the live performances on the street, but this was a little more educational. And it was still some cool dances. So we're just going to let them play, and I'll kind of babble on about how much I love this, and we'll see how it looks.
This is Mayor Jerry Treñas inviting everyone to the virtual celebration of Dinagyang 2021. Witness and hear the drumbeats roll. Celebrate our culture and religion as Dinagyang Festival goes digital on January 24, starting 7 a.m. One Dinagyang, one Iloilo, halad kay Senyor Santo Niño.
that's kind of a short clip of Dinagyang 2021. I'm fortunate that it was not live and in the streets and crazy wild fun like always, but I think they did a very good job with those dances. The filming was a different art form, and I thought they used the city as their set pieces in some very interesting ways, and I really enjoyed it. And hopefully next year we'll be back to normal and can do it downtown. Viva Santo Niño.
Enjoy your day in paradise.